for joining me. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to spend just a few minutes to look at a very, very important issue. There is a current hearing going on right now in Johannesburg, South Africa, by the CRA Rights Commission, where they're listening to victims of the church, people who have been abused financially, sexually, spiritually, or any other way. And they've been having a hearing, and a lot of the victims come there with their families, with their friends. So we're going to be examining what the testimony of a family, a husband and a wife, who came before the commission and gave their own testimony of their experiences at Living Waters Ministries in the Vaal in the south of Johannesburg, where Bishop Stephen Zondo is the lead pastor. Thank you for joining me. It's actually raining right now. I'm sure you can hear the rain just dropping. It's raining where I'm at right now, but just we're going to try to wrap up this in 30 minutes, which is really going to be short. I want to encourage you before I go forward. If you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Solomon's Temple. And if you're watching on Facebook, please do subscribe to my page. Just follow me basically on Facebook. It would be great to have you there. And also we've been the last 2-3 days we've been creating, Solomon's Temple's partners. People that we would pray together, people that believe in what I'm involved in and want to be a part of it, whichever way with their skill. Maybe they want to bring skill to help out, a video skill, editing skill, or whatever kind of skill, spiritual skill, financial support, people that would want to support what I do. For about 10 years, I've been using my own money to do this. Now I feel is the right time to be able to get partners. Somebody told me, Solomon, you are the one that is criticizing pastors for taking money from people. I don't criticize pastors for taking. How are you going to do ministry if you don't have financial support? We are called to give. I give. I'm a giver. But when you give to pastors or churches and they use the money to abuse it, to use it on themselves, buy cars, do this and do that, do things that are not in any way associated with what God has called the church to do, then it becomes a problem. And that's where my problem is. But I'm not against giving. Giving is, we are givers. We're created to give. We're created to support. Remember, not everyone is called to preach. Not everyone is called to do what I do. Some people are called to make money. Some people are called to just be supporters of anything that they see God is doing. They just want to support it financially, whether it's small money or big money, whichever way. That's the way, that's what God called them to do. That's the role that God has given them. And there is definitely no problem with that. But we must stop abusing the resources that we get from people, that people bring in to support what we do, and then we use that money to abuse. We use that money for ourselves, abusing it, financial abuse. That's the problem. So I'm not against that. So please, I want you to just check us out. Send us a WhatsApp message so we can add you into the group. We've had about over 100 people right now in the last 2 days. So use that number, send us a WhatsApp message so we can add you into the group. We're building the group up, and very soon we're going to start communicating with everyone. We're going to have a couple of people who are admin. We're going to have somebody out in North America, maybe somebody in Europe, somebody up in the Middle East, and somebody up in Africa, or somebody else in Oceanic, because a lot of the people that I have sent messages now that are part of the group right now, they are just from all over, from Tanzania to Canada to Norway to just all over. So it's important for us to do that. And as you know also, I'm involved in a legal court case with Alf Lucau, who infamously, like the media said, resurrected somebody from the dead. If you remember the story of Elliot, Now I have had an issue with him, which I was sentenced to 20 days in prison, suspended for 2 years. But now he has now said I had defamed him again. So he wants, he's taking me for contempt of court for defamation. So he wants me to go to prison. And he has promised a lot of people that I'm going to go to prison. So whether I go to prison or not is not the thing. But for me to be able to give account of my own, why I said what I said, which I felt was not defamatory. And we're doing it in the high court, which is expensive. So I've been putting in a lot of money. Right now, I need about $5,000 to be able to get there. We've raised about $2,000 already. So I need about $5,000. And people have been giving from just everywhere. And I really want to thank you. I really want to thank you. Locally in South Africa, or if you want to transfer into this account is an account that my wife was using, but we just created that now just exclusively for this. So that's my wife's name, NL Asham. We have another account. We have a joint account. My wife and I use a joint account. That's what we've been using since we got married about 8 years ago. So this account is just there as a backup for anything with Nedbank. So please use this account and the account number if you want to support in whichever way. And if you want to support via PayPal, my PayPal link is solomontalks@yahoo.com. solomonstalk@yahoo.com. I would appreciate that. Let's do this and see. We have to fight the good fight of faith. That's the way I see it. And the good fight of faith doesn't mean I will not go to prison, or doesn't mean I will go to prison. But the good fight of faith is about defending the truth. It's about defending the truth against what you feel is an injustice that's being done spiritually by leaders. So this is a fight for all of us. It's not just about Alf Lucau, but it's about other people you and I think, other pastors and bishops, that you and I think that these people, they are pastors, but they are not doing what God has called them to do. And they cannot silence us. We shouldn't allow them to silence us. That's not the way to go. So anyway, got that out of the way. Let's dive straight into the crux of this session this afternoon. I'm going to be talking about Bishop Stephen Zondo. Some of you guys are familiar with him, and some of you guys are not familiar with him. I know that there's a lot of international audience on my YouTube and also on my broadcast. And you guys may not know him, but I would ask you to Google Bishop Stephen Zondo. Bishop Stephen Zondo is over 50-year-old person. I think he's close to his 60s now, 57, I think. He has a big church in the south of Johannesburg called Rivers of Living Waters Ministries. And they have had a lot of scandal. Bishop Stephen Zondo was in a relationship with TB Joshua as his spiritual covering at one point. And he has taken a lot of pastors, people, Christians from here, South Africa, into Nigeria to go visit that TB Joshua, Prophet TB Joshua, the so-called prophet, who is also a fake prophet anyway. TB Joshua is not a man of God. And he wanted to grow his ministry. He wanted to grow his church. And I think a lot of people go to TB Joshua because they feel maybe when TB Joshua prays for them, and then boom, they're going to begin to see miracles and begin to lay hands on people, and the sick, the blind will see, the lame would work, blah, blah, blah. Some of them know that TB Joshua is not of God, but he has powers. But some of them do not know that he's not of God. So we know those kind of situations. So he's taken a lot of people down there, and a lot of people that have been there have been abused spiritually, sexually, that he has taken down there. A couple of years ago, I think about 5-6 years ago, there was a scandal around his area where members of his church came out to say that he was using witchcraft on them, and people started stalking. That was when the whole, saga started. And he defended himself. At one point, people came to burn down his church because the community was very angry what he used to do in the community. And I mean, he came out gun blazing, saying that people hated him, people don't like him. And that's what Zondo does. Zondo accuses everybody but himself. He blames everybody but himself. He will blame politicians. he will blame the media, he will blame pastors, he will blame other leaders, he will blame the police, he will blame everybody but himself. But this is the same man who when women that accuse him of rape go and open a police case, the docket would disappear. The police quash the case because he is influential, he's connected to politicians, and he's building a big church out there. He's somebody that God has left a long time ago. Zondo is not, God has left him long time ago. He might have started well, like I always say, but somewhere along the way, he got himself involved into evil. He got himself involved into certain things that is not really of God, and that becomes a problem. That's become a problem for him. Now, this is Bishop Stephen Zondo. Again, some of you guys who are international, Google him and check him out. He's somebody who is very proud and arrogant, and somebody who is pompous and irresponsible. Somebody who has totally, abused and poisoned the pulpit. Somebody who has used the pulpit not just to enrich himself, but he has used the pulpit also to abuse people and to cause a lot of confusion amongst the people of God. I know of cases, his niece and his sister, who came out to say that he had abused them sexually. I've met them, I've spoken to them, and they even late last year they appeared before the CRL Rights Commission. Now, the CRL Rights Commission here is a commission that is established by the government to protect and also to promote religion, languages, and linguistics. So it's a government institution. And right now they've been doing a hearing. They've been doing hearings for the last 2 months, right from last year, actually. Just investigating what has been going on around the church. So they have a mandate from the government to do that. And people came from Zondo's church that used to be there and said what he had been doing and some of the things that had happened to them. And two of the people that came, all these people came to the commission. They were former members of Bishop Stephen Zondo's church. Right there in the middle, with the red hair, is his sister. Her name is Cabo Zondo. And right there, squatting, is his niece. And both of them testified that he had sexually abused them. Even his sister went to put it in another way, that he had actually used their late mother for witchcraft to fulfill his own ambition. All these four gentlemen that you see there, they were part of the church. They were very extremely close to him, and they all testified. Some of the things that they said was mind-blowing. Mind-blowing, totally. Now, it is important for us to understand this, and not just to understand this, but also to say what happened. What happened? Now, last week, a testimony was given by a couple, a husband and a wife, who were members of Bishop Zondo's church, that is Rivers of Living Waters. Now, I want to go, they didn't disclose their identity, so they are anonymous. So I don't have audio or video to show you because of that, but I'm going through their transcript of what they said happened to them whilst they were at the church. The wife was gifted somebody who sees dreams and who sees things. And normally he has a group of prayer team called Prayer Warriors. What he does with his prayer warriors is he uses them to extract what God is saying. So they will do the praying and they will do the listening, and then they would tell him what God is saying, and then he would go to church and declare it. So it makes it easy for him. So he's using them basically. Prophet Joshua Iginla also does the same thing. Now let's go through the transcript. This is what the wife said. She said in the prayer group, that is the prayer warriors, Zondo would give each of them prayer items, which they had to pray for. She added that the bishop called her every morning from 2011 until about 2018-19 to find out what she had dreamt about. Every morning, what she had dreamt about. You remember that story in the book of Acts about, this sorcerer, I think it was a sorcerer that has this girl that he carries with, and the girl now prophesies and say things. Is the same thing that is happening here. So it's more like what, divination or so? That's the same thing that's happening here. You use people. So it's not a godly way of doing things. So that's what she said in the first part. The second part, she said, some of the dreams I had included prophecies. There were many of us, and the thing with him is that he has a selfish personality. If you were not giving him what he wants to hear, that is not enough. It must be something he wants to hear, the former church member testified. So you have to tell him something that he wants to hear, So obviously it is shown that Zondo has no relationship with God in whatever way. He has lost his relationship with God a long time ago. Now he's using people. He's setting up a prayer warrior team. He would identify people who have like this prophetic gifts, people who have gifts for, word of knowledge, word of prophecy, people who see things, and put them in a group. Right? That's what he does. That's what he does. And it's definitely become a problem when he wants to hear certain things. He wants to hear prophecies that would be nice, that would be good, just so he can go out there and say, this is what God is saying. Now, let's go to the next one. She says the church leader would call every day to check on what she had dreamed of, and in return paid them 1,200, which was for airtime, for them to call him back if they saw his missed calls. So every month he gives them money. Every month he gives them money. Excuse me, give me a moment, sorry. I'm so sorry. I had to, my laptop power was going off. So where were we? So he gives them money, he pays for it. He's paying for airtime, obviously, because he wants them to keep him informed. And, I'm not sure how African you are enough to know that there are places where, it's more like they have become his sangoma or his babalawo and everything. He goes to them and hears stuff and then come out and then comes to the church or go to individuals and tell them stuff. So he has totally capsized the way God intended it to be. And going forward, she said some of the women started commenting a lot about the leader, even about his, look at it there, started commenting about the leader, even about his, which I'm not going to say, which was concerning to her. Despite the church leader knowing her rape situation, it, however, did not stop him from pursuing her. So some of the women in the group started talking about his penis, and she was somebody that was raped before, and he knew about that situation, but he was still pursuing her. And she is a married woman. She has a husband, and she had a kid, and she just had another baby. And you would actually get to see what happened just when she had another baby. He was pursuing her. She's a married woman, but he was pursuing her, and she's a victim of rape. You can imagine what happens to a woman who had an issue of rape in her past, and then she comes to church trusting that this is a safe place, and then the leader of the church is now pursuing you sexually, even though you were married. For a lot of men, I don't expect you to understand that because you're not a woman. But do you know what that does to a woman? This is the kind of thing that drives a woman to go into deep depression, or drives women to get to a place where they commit suicide, or they do something to themselves, or they just totally lack interest in God. Totally. They have a history of rape. And then now here is a church, and here is a church leader who wants to re-emphasize that again, who wants to satisfy himself sexually with her. That's like terrible. That shouldn't be happening in the church of God where we are, and where God has called us to be. We should never tolerate it. But that is the modus operandi of Bishop Stephen Zondo. Not just with single women, married women. I know them. I've met them. Bishop Stephen Zondo knows me very well. He has abused me on his TV, on his church. He has attacked me xenophobically, saying that I'm Nigerian, so why should I be, kind of like interfering? What right do I even have to speak out and tell him what to do? But fact is, this man has committed a lot of atrocities. He's committed a lot of atrocities. Anyway, so she said there was a time one of her friends called her and said, "My friend, I'm going to resign at the church. I'm tired of giving this man blowjobs. I'm tired of sleeping with this old man because I can no longer sleep with my husband." Another married woman now confiding in this married woman that she's tired of giving Zondo oral sex, and she's tired of sleeping with him, with the old man. So obviously she's a younger woman, and she can no longer sleep with her husband. So what's happening? Do you see the equation? When a woman has been abused by somebody who is a spiritual leader, because he has departed from God, and because he's using a lot of witchcraft and evil deeds, what the devil will want to do through Zondo is not just to destroy Zondo, or Zondo to destroy women that he sleeps with, but for him to also destroy the family. Now she cannot even sleep with her husband anymore. She cannot have sex with her husband. Can you see that kind of devastation that the action of this one man who claimed to be a man of God is causing? And that's the cycle. I don't have a problem, I tell people, I don't have a problem when one leader, one church false prophet or fake bishop is doing certain things that is evil. As long as he's doing that unto himself, but not unto the congregation, it's fine. You can destroy yourself all by yourself because we've told you, but then you don't want to stop. So you can destroy yourself all by yourself. But do not destroy the congregation, the members, the people, the young women, the families. Do not destroy young girls. Because once you step in there, I'm not going to be quiet. We as a people of God, we as lovers of truth, we're not going to be quiet at all. Now, this is hard testimony. And you can imagine the testimony of hundreds of other women that he had done this kind of things to, and he has probably done worse to them. This is just one of the hundreds, or if not thousands. Come with me. So she also went on to say, she said, I was like, how can I express my sexual feelings to him? I didn't even, before then, I was, I think I missed something. Yeah, I think I missed something somewhere. Anyway, I know the story, but here she said he normally prays for her, and normally when he prays for her, he would say he's praying for her for her sexual feelings to be for her to use her sexual feelings on him. So she's a married woman. He's not praying for her to use her sexual feelings on her husband, but she's praying for her to use her sexual feelings on him, the bishop. She said, I was like, how can I express my sexual feeling to him? I didn't open my eyes. So this was her going for prayers, and she went into the office for prayers, and her husband was outside with the baby, and then she went in. This guy has guts, right? And that's what they do. People would be outside waiting for this woman. She went in for prayer, but inside the office of the bishop, the prophet, the woman is being raped. And that's what happened to her. I've heard so many, countless stories of so many other people, so many other bishops and prophets doing that to women. She said, I didn't even open my eyes, literally. He forced his penis into my mouth. I opened my eyes before I was shaken, because I was shaking, thinking this person knows what I have been through and how much it hurts. So he basically did that to her, and then she ran into the toilet and cried, and even her baby, who she was breastfeeding, was outside with her husband. And she didn't tell her husband until much later. As for this man here, that you would see him on TV. He's always on TV. His programs promoting it. Claimed to be a man of God. Would quote scriptures and put it out there. But he has departed from God. And we cannot be quiet. He even got to a level of asking her, she was at the university studying at one point, and he asked her to say that the church, he paid for her tuition fee, which was not true, because she got her tuition fee from, what do you call it? NFS also, where the government funds, where they support students. But he asked her to go there. Let's see what this transcript is saying. He told her that you must go and give testimony of how I took you to school. He actually not even pay her tuition fee, but how he took her to school, manipulating her. We did not see it as a bad thing at that time. We thought this was a strategy he uses to raise funds for the church. And we must be careful also as people of God, when pastor just asks us to do things, to give a testimony, or to go to somebody and say certain things, or to say certain things in a group, we have to ask ourselves, is what he is telling me to say the truth or not the truth? That's how we end up helping pastors to do fake miracles, because he would ask just put him on a wheelchair, or put a wheelchair here, or no, just tell him just tell the people that he was blind, or that's how we end up becoming participants in helping these people to defraud people, to manipulate people, to lie to people. That's how we end up becoming that. And it's pathetic. It's sad. Very, very sad, actually. And Zondo has done quite a lot of that. And if his niece in this photo here, that's his niece squatting, that's his sister with the red hair. If both of them could come out publicly before the CRA Rights Commission in South Africa and say that, look, they have been molested by Zondo, sexually molested. I think every country in Africa, actually needs a commission. A country like Nigeria needs a commission like the CRL Commission, CRA Rights Commission, where you will bring all these dodgy churches, dodgy pastors, fake prophets, all these scandalous people who are really using lies and manipulation to make money from people and to deceive people and to rape women. They come before the commission, appear there, and they need to be charged and be investigated by the police. Not just by the police, by police that we know, because we know across Africa, most of the police are corrupt. Or maybe we, the church ourselves, we need to sit down and say, we need to set a commission for ourselves to be able to do this. Because there are so many people like Zondo who are taking advantage of women, who are taking advantage of girls, who will call them in for prayer and prophecy. And you have the guts. The husband is outside waiting with a little baby who was still breastfeeding outside the door of your office. And the wife came in for prayers, and you have the guts to sexually molest her. Do you see how powerful he feels? Only powerful people can do that. So he feels powerful, untouchable. Nothing can happen to me. She cannot do anything to me. She can go out and share this story. Nobody's going to believe her. I'm the man. I need to satisfy my sexual urges and sexual desires. And in the house of God. And you have the guts to say you have a church of 5,000 people and branches across South Africa and Botswana. And he has the guts to tell me to shut up. This is the same man who went on TV and accused me of accepting 1 million rand bribe from a nameless source. Why didn't he name where I got a 1 million rand if he knows that what he's saying is the truth? I'm not in this for money. You can offer me 10 million rand. I would never, ever strangle the truth. That's not what I'm called for. If I wanted to make money, I would have made money of people like them Bushiri and them Zondo and all these guys that I have files on them. People come to me, I know things about them. But their money is blood money. They got it from the poor. They got it illegally, illegitimately. And you want me to be a part of that? That means I'm throwing away my testimony totally away. I'm not going to do that. That's why some of them are saying, now I'm asking for money because I have a legal case and all that. Yeah. And people have been supporting. People have sent money on this PayPal account, solomontalks@yahoo.com. Yes, I need money. I need about $5,000 right now for me to offset the legal cost. Because this is the fight, fighting the good fight of faith. And people have been supportive. And I know there are other people that would support this. But because they have money, they can take you to just anywhere. They can take you to court. They will put in their money. They know, Solomon doesn't have money. Because these guys are multi-millionaires, some of them, they're millionaires. So please, in conclusion, let's stay together. Let's keep, standing on the truth. Let's keep fighting for the truth. Wherever we see injustice, wherever we see evil, let's bring truth. Wherever we see darkness, let's bring light. Wherever we see wrong, let's bring right. That's what we are called to do. And we need to stand together. Not some people doing it and some people not doing it. We don't have to do the same thing. But we can play a role here and there. People have been sending me money saying, look, Solomon, I'm not called to do what you do, but I totally believe in what you do. And here is some little money for your legal cost. Here is some little money for your legal cost. And that's what it is. And continue to pray for us. Continue to pray for me. Continue to pray for yourself that you would stand in truth, whatever you face. However, you're going to stand and not compromise the truth. So I really want to thank you very much. Again, if you want to contribute for my legal costs, please do that. PayPal is solomontalks@yahoo.com. I would really appreciate it. And also, if you want to send money into my account, here is the account details. I would appreciate it. Just so we on this journey with God legally, where are we going to end? I have no idea. But I know I am going with God. That's the confidence that I have. I don't have the confidence in what the outcome is going to be, but the confidence in the fact that God is going through this with me and with us. So I really want to thank you. And I haven't read some of the messages that are here. Current Mama is saying, I choose truth. Thanks, so God will surely bless Olani is saying, Solomon, I respect you. It's something I saw in my church. I was raised in people do ridiculous things in the name of Christ. Yeah, that's true. Very, very true. People would do ridiculous things. And sometimes people don't know. They're just being used, and yes, that's true, current. That's why God has called us to urge us to ask for the spirit of discernment. We need to discern certain things. They cannot just be throwing us around back and forth and all that. Nokon Waba said NSFF. What is yes? This one. Yes, this one. Thank you, guys. That's where she got her money from, not from Zondo, who claimed that he financed her education. That's not true. So thank you, guys. God bless you. I think I'll be back tonight. I'm not really sure yet, but then I would see, and then I would definitely let you guys know. Thank you for your usual support. Thank you for everything that you're doing. God bless you. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Solomon's Temple, and also don't forget to follow me on Facebook. And also, finally, make sure you send a WhatsApp message to this number so we can add you to our group, our partner group, where we're going to be praying together and also saying, how do we support truth? How do we keep pushing the truth? And importantly, also, pray for J. Israel. He's been locked up. He's done something wrong. Not pray for what he has done to go away. No. If you do something wrong, there's consequences to it. It's fine. But pray for him that he will really rediscover his steps, that he will leave the evil that he's been involved in, but all that depends on him, So we pray for him, and we hope that he's going to get to that place. Thank you so much. God bless you, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.